Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So today I'll be telling you the basics of JavaScript, why we have to use JavaScript when you're writing or rather creating a web page in your website. Okay, what will JavaScript actually do? Okay, and we'll write a code like a basic example, like I'll be writing the code for displaying a greeting message when a button is clicked on your website. Okay, suppose there is a button on your web page. Okay, and you have to click that, and suppose it displays welcome to the website. Okay, so that is the basic example wherein I'll be using the JavaScript, and I'll show you how it's actually working and what is the functionality. For those, it's especially for those who are beginners, who are new to the JavaScript, they'll be able to understand how does it work and what exactly it does in your web page or in your front end. Okay, so let's get started. We'll start with the doc type, the HTML part. And after that, the HTML head. We'll move on to the header. Then I'll just use a title tag, and inside that I'll write JavaScript example. Okay, and I'll close off the header part. Now we have to move on to the body part. Okay, the body of the web page. Here I'll use the body tag, and then I'll just use the h1 tag in order to just give a heading like JavaScript, which should come up or it will get displayed in my web page. Okay, so JavaScript example, close the h1 tag, and next I'll just write a paragraph inside the p tag using the ID because I want to display a message, right? So my ID will be message. Okay, I'll just close this and I'll close the p tag. And inside the message will be inside a button, right? So we have to create a button, and the ID for that would be, let's say, a greet button. Okay, fine. And let's close this off. And suppose I write click me. Fine. And then let's close this button. Now, what is happening over here? If you see, as I said, so here, this is your web page. Okay, so in your web page, you'll get the title first of all, that JavaScript example. Okay, so let's say JS example. Okay, here it will come up, and then this greet button, click me, will come up. Okay, so there will be a button. Okay, wherein it will be written as click me. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to click on this particular, we have to make this button functional so that whenever you click on this particular button, it displays a message like a greeting message, that suppose hello, or something like a welcome to the website, something like this. Okay, that we have to do with the help of the JavaScript as well. So till now we have created the header part, and then we have also created the button in which it says click me. Okay, now next we have to move on to the scripting part. Okay, how will you script it? So here comes the role of the JavaScript. So we'll use the script tag over here. Okay, and so inside script, I'll be just first of all, so see, first of all, what is the role of the JavaScript? So here, if I just mention the steps, what I'll be doing. So let's say the first step is we have to select the HTML element. Okay. So here, selection of the HTML element means we have to select the p element or p tag which we have used, and we have also we have to also use the greet button, the ID, right, the ID attribute. So here what the scripting will do, so here if I just write const and then message element, okay, And then inside that, I'll just write document dot get by ID. Okay. And then inside it, you can display what we want to display. So inside the ID, we want to display the message, right? So you can write message over here. Now see carefully what is happening over here. So this particular scripting which we have done, the JavaScript, this is for selecting the HTML element. Now element for us over here is the P tag, okay, and then the ID wherein we are creating the message, wherein if you click the button, so the click me button, it will display a message like welcome or hello or anything which you want to display. So this particular scripting, this particular line of code, the JavaScript, will actually select the HTML IDs, that is ID and the message. Okay, next what we have to do is we have to go ahead and work on the greet button, right? We have to script on the greet button. So for that, let's say we write const and then greet button. Okay, and here the document dot, we will take the element or we will select the element with the help of button, right? So we can write get element by ID and then inside the brackets we can write greet button. Okay, that's it. So what is happening in this particular first step? So this line of code, this JavaScript will select the message one, okay, this particular line, and the second line, that get element by. So the meaning of get element by means you are selecting the ID by greet button. So first of all, we are selecting the message and then we are selecting the greet button. That's the meaning of these two line of code, or rather the JavaScript. Okay, next what we have to do, we have to go for the step 2. We have to define a function wherein whenever we call that particular function, so suppose we want to click that particular button in order to display the greeting message, then for that you have to put it inside the function, right? So how will you put it inside the function? So for that, let's say we have a step 2, define function. Okay, so how to define a function? So for that, let's take a name function and then display greeting. Okay, suppose this is the function name. Fine. Okay, now inside the function, what we have to do, we have to mention the message element, like whenever this particular function is called, so there will be a message displayed or there will be a greeting displayed, like something like hello JavaScript, something like that. So for that, what we have to do, we have to write message element, okay, and then put a dot, and then we have to just display a text content, right? So for that we can write text content, and then we can write over here, suppose the message which we want whenever the user clicks on the button. So suppose hello JavaScript. Okay, this is what we want to display. Fine, and then we'll end up with the semicolon. Now this function is done, this part is done. Now next what we have to do, see, don't get messed up. So what's happening, the first step, first you are trying to call off the elements which you have, the HTML element, that is the message and the greet button. So we have created over here, right over here, the HTML code for that. Okay, and in the second step we are defining a function, which means whenever we are trying to call this function, it will display a hello JavaScript message. That means whenever you're trying to click the button, okay, it will display, it will call this particular function, and it will display the message whatever is there inside it. Fine. Now coming out of the function part, what we have to do, we have to add a listener to it. We call it as an event listener in JavaScript. Okay, so we can write as okay, event listener. So what is happening? So the greet button which we have, okay, that means suppose here in our web page, this particular button which we have to click, okay, suppose it's written click me on it, which we want. Okay, so whenever a user is clicking on it, it is displaying the greeting message, right? So here in the event listener, what we have to do, we have to write a script for the greet button. Okay, that means we have to write a script in order to tell the event listener that whenever a user is clicking, you have to listen and you have to display the greet message. That is why we have to create a event listener for that. Okay, so for that, how to create the event listener? So you have to just write greet button. Okay, and then inside that you have to add the event listener. So event listener, and then you can just write over here click display greet. Okay, so what does this line of code means? This line of code means that the greet button is now acting as a event listener, in which whenever a user clicks, it will display the greetings. Okay, so display greeting means it will go on to this particular function, it will call this function, and it will display the greeting message hello JavaScript. Okay, so this is how the whole JavaScript is being written. Fine. Now what we have to do, we are done with the part. Now we can close off. So here you can close the body and then you can close the HTML. Okay, so clear. So here inside the HTML we added our JavaScript. This whole part is of JavaScript, wherein you are using the script tag for adding your JavaScript code. Okay, so our main output was we have to create a button in which it will, whenever a user will click, so once the click is there, it should display a greeting message hello JavaScript or hello welcome to my website, something like that. So for that, the JavaScript code which we have written, the first step is what? We have to select the HTML elements. Okay, right? Because the JavaScript needs to understand what kind of work you want in the output. So for that we have to select the element using get element by. Okay, so here the elements of the HTML are this, the ID, the P, okay, and the message. Okay, that means the message and the greet button. Fine. Next step, what we have to do, we have to define a function which will perform my task. Okay, that means a function which will display the greeting. So whenever you click on it, a greeting is displayed. So this is for displaying the greeting. So if you see carefully the second step, the greeting is displayed, but what we have to do for the clicking part? So for that we have created an event listener. Okay, so in the greet button itself, whenever you have to add a listener, so add event listener we can use over there, that you can write in your code, and then you can mention like whenever it is being clicked, it has to display the greeting message calling this particular function. Okay, so I hope that is clear to everyone, which makes sense and clear, like the HTML and the scripting part, how it is done. Now what we have to do, close off everything and just save the file. Okay, Now, once the file is saved, just double check your code. If everything looks okay, you have closed the tags and everything. And then we will go ahead. Yes, everything is closed. The script is closed. Body is closed. HTML is closed. Now we'll go off and see the output, how it looks like. Okay. So now let's open like where my file is actually saved. So my file is saved as new file. So I'll just open it off. Now if you see carefully, this is the output, how it will look like. This is the header one which we have given, that is JavaScript example, and this is the button which has got created in our web page, that is click me. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to see whether it's working or not, whether when we are clicking on the click me button, whether it's giving me the greeting message or not. Okay, so I click on click me. So here is the message, hello JavaScript. So if you see the code again, so yes, this is what the message we wanted, hello JavaScript message is being displayed right over here. Okay, so this is how the JavaScript works. How you have to use the JavaScript with your HTML, and what is the function of the JavaScript. It's quite simple, it's quite easy if you understand it step by step. Okay, you'll be able to know what is the use of get element by, and then what is the use of the text content, how to define a function inside a script, and how that particular function is working. All those things you can understand easily. Okay, so that's it guys in this video. Hope you like this video. If you did, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel for latest update on coding related to HTML, CSS, Java, JavaScript, C++, Python, and RStudio. So thank you so much guys for watching. We will meet you on our next video very soon, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And you can like this video, share it as much as you can with your friends and colleagues who are eager to learn about the JavaScript and other programming languages as well. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe.